Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to another episode of Touching the Stove, the show where we unpack contemporary issues through critical thinking, introspection, and communication theory. I'm your host, Amadou C, and I am joined today by my illustrious co-host, Desifer Anani. 2 weeks ago, we unpacked a lot in our previous episode dealing with fatherless energy. So much, in fact, that we're going to give you guys a quick little recap. Desi, do you mind helping us out with that?
Most definitely do. So, as you said, 2 weeks ago, we spoke about fatherless energy and we had a very captivating conversation.
Extremely captivating.
We defined what it meant, we looked at its impact, and we gave you all some practical examples and implications of exhibiting fatherless energy. You all spoke and we listened. So there's definitely going to be a second episode diving deeper into the context and the concepts of fatherless energy. Definitely stay tuned for that.
My mom heard that episode and was like, man, that's an interesting topic you guys got there. I would have liked to have, learned a little bit more about that. So Mom, shout out to you. Cause if I had no other reason, cause I did want to come back to that topic. I had a lot on my chest that I wanted to get off. And oh boy, if it wasn't for the editing room, man, that's all I can tell you. But no, we'll be back with another episode covering that. So be on the lookout for that. On to the next episode. Desi, why are we here today?
So today's episode is one of my favorite things. I do this with my friends. I do this with my families. I do this with my coworkers. And honestly, I might even do it with a random stranger. Today's episode is an accountability check-in.
Accountability?
Yes.
I'm coming in blind this episode. She said, I don't want to tell you what this episode is about today. And I said, okay, I'm with it. So tell me accountability.
Yes, accountability. No one gets a pass here. We're not playing Go. Right? Today we're talking a little bit about accountability. We're connecting it to self-awareness and how to cope with
cognitive dissonance. Fessinger's theory proposes that inconsistency among beliefs or behaviors causes an uncomfortable psychological tension. This is what we call cognitive dissonance, that uncomfortability. This leads people to change or be inconsistent with some elements to reduce their dissonance or to add context to their behaviors. So in other words, give me an example of when you being accountable has led to you experience what we call cognitive dissonance.
Well, something that I can think of that everybody's probably capable of or has experienced one or done is like, let's say you're having a cookie, right? And you're telling yourself you're going to behave and you're going to only have one cookie. But once you have that one cookie, you can't leave it alone on its own island. So you're going to have maybe 2 or 3. After you've had your 2 to 3 cookies, you're going to sit with yourself and say, and I shouldn't have had that many sweets. And that was a bad decision. That experience right there kind of sums up cognitive dissonance.
Okay, you brought this episode up today. Where are you going with this?
So where I am going with this is I want us to be able to recognize cognitive dissonance. I want us to be able to restore that sense of balance that enable us to overcome cognitive dissonance and also just be better.
In what sense?
In the sense of their life is constantly happening. You're going to make plans and they're going to fail. And that is okay.
Oh, Desi said y'all can't do it. Y'all heard it here first. Desi said y'all can't do it. Give up. You're going to fail.
No, listen. As the title of this episode suggests, we're taking a closer look at this New Year's same songs or same stories for my book readers, right? There's value in telling the truth and not lying to yourself about these lackluster and lame New Year's resolutions that literally don't even stand a chance, and we all know they're going to fail. And once they do fail, we're going to propose some options and opportunities for you to not feel as conflicted. Dude, let's start off with these lovely year-long gym subscriptions that I know half of the listeners have participated in.
Listen,
what do you have to say about that?
Listen, I see it all the time, right? A lot of y'all probably don't know this about me, but for those who do, I go to the gym regularly. I go 4 to 5 times a week, and I have a personal trainer and everything. And I see this all the time. Like my personal trainer, he'll come to me like every beginning of the new year. He'll say, "Hey, man, I got 15, 18 new clients or whatever." And it's I might have to switch up the schedule a little bit to accommodate everybody. And I'm like, okay, no problem. And I always say to him, hey man, I give it 3 weeks. And lo and behold, like clockwork, That 15 gets reduced to 10. Then by maybe February, it gets reduced to 7. Then by maybe March, April, it gets reduced to 5. Because it's not nothing he's doing. Because I've been with him for 4 years now. It's more or less that people will pick something up and just won't be consistent with it. They don't hold themselves accountable. And in so doing, when you're paying or when they're taking that, because LA Fitness does not play, they will take that $57.99 so quick out your wallet. Oh my goodness. And when you're seeing those gym fees to Planet Fitness, LA Fitness, Lifestyle Gym, whatever gym you have, when you're seeing those fees deducted from your account and you are not going to the gym, how do you justify that in your mind?
No, really, because that's where the dissonance comes in, right? You made these plans. They were so glamorous and so glorious. You had literally no steps. You had no guidance, and it led you nowhere. The question becomes, was it really a goal or was it just a checklist item? Because you have to look closer into what motivates you.
So I know you did not say I have an episode idea just to talk about gym membership. So
absolutely not.
Desi, tell me, why are you really here?
Why am I really here?
Get to the meat and potatoes.
The potatoes. No, so listen, one of my personal goals was definitely setting some boundaries, right? Working on setting boundaries and being a better advocate for myself, both personally and professionally. And those two different things do not seem like they work hand in hand. And they also cause a lot of dissonance. An example that I can give is, let's say you had this glorious idea to plan a trip and everybody was on board.
It happens all the time.
You know, you had the itinerary, you sent the links, and now it's time to book and no one wants to go. Or they have some beautifully crafted, undisputable reason why they can't go. Do you go alone? Or do you rain check? That's a moment for dissonance.
Personally, I'd just go alone. Like, if I took the time to really sit here, plan it, we have a group chat made just for this trip. And I'm sure you've all experienced it slowly but surely. Let's say you started with 10. That 10 goes down to 8. That 8 goes down to 5. Next thing you know, it might be, if you're lucky, it might be you and 2 other people. If you're lucky. And let's just unpack. Why? Why does that happen? How can 10 people simultaneously agree to do something and then not hold themselves accountable to see it through? Where is the disconnect? Where is the dissonance, if you would? Around when does that occur?
I would definitely say that when it comes to dissonance, it has multiple factors. There's a mental factor, there's a physical factor, there's an emotional factor, and there's also the overarching he said, she said, we said, they said. But if it was a fifth, we'd all be drunk and dead, right? So what are the actual decisions that you're making? What are the actual actions that are taking place? Like I said earlier on, I'm working on having these boundaries and having this autonomy and being more intentional in my relationships and in my friendships. And that comes with an opportunity cost. Personally, if you want to go somewhere, Desi's your girl. I'm going to say yes 35,000 times. And by the time I know it, I don't even have 45 seconds to myself. We saw it around the holidays. What business did you really have going to brunch, dinner, and dessert? You had Thanksgiving at one place, you had Friendsgiving the next day, and then you had Cousinsgiving on Saturday. But your goal for the year was to eat healthy.
I want to go back to my hot take. You know what I think? What you just described to me, it sounds like, you guys have 1,000,001 things going on. I'm talking to X-Man. I'm planning a Friendsgiving with X-friends. I'm planning a vacation. What is it with y'all and vacations? Like, what? I just want to know what are y'all running from? What
are we running from?
What are y'all running from exactly?
Life.
Are y'all running from the soft life? I'm confused because
I'm running into the soft life.
But if you're having so much trouble planning the vacation, are you guys running from the vacation? I'm trying to figure it out here. Okay, listen. Perhaps to be a multitasker, right? You're doing 1,000,001 things. And then somewhere down the line, you drop the ball on accountability.
So
Talk to me.
listen,
Talk to me.
we're talking accountability, but we're also talking responsibility. So this is where I'm going to pass the ball back, because the gentlemen in the room, right? So if you see that your lady friends or your sisters, your cousins, whatever it is, are trying to get something together, why y'all never had no feedback? Why y'all never had no input? No, because if I sat here and planned the entire trip and we go and you tell me,
this is personal.
And
shout out to the two guys I think she's thinking of. She's definitely talking about you, and you know who you are.
Oh, never that. But my thing is, how come y'all always ask us what we want to eat? Why you never have a suggestion ready? Right? Where's the accountability there?
First of all,
you're not leading.
If I recall correctly, y'all are the ones who never know what you guys want to eat, right? So
then why don't you give me options and let me choose?
How am I supposed to know what you have a taste for? Exactly.
You give me options, and then once you give me the options, I'm gonna get to the decision.
Here's the thing. Maybe if you were more accountable, you could you could tell me what you want to eat. We can go, and that it's done. Consider it done, paid for. It's already paid for, boo. Just tell me what you want. I'm gonna make it happen. You want deer? Huh? You want deer? I'll go get you some. We could go hunting. What you want, man? Talk to me.
No, I think that if you have a specific goal, again, we're checking in on accountability here. So when you set a goal, actually have some milestones, some markers, have
tangible milestones.
Tangible.
Right?
Listen,
so
be smart about
exactly.
it. Is it obtainable? How much time will you need? What are the metrics associated? What is the opportunity? I keep saying opportunity cost, and I feel like that's going over some of your heads. What is an opportunity cost? You can't get everything. You can't do everything. You can't be everything to everybody. You have to drop the ball somewhere. Don't make the ball that you drop yourself.
Leave him, sis. Leave him, sis. But if you have somebody who you know is a flake, who you know is not going to pull through on the guy's trip or on the girl's trip, you might have to being accountable might look like, hey, I don't want to invite so-and-so on this trip because I know he's not going to be accountable and actually show up or pull through or put the money down or whatever the case is. Or if you want this person to come, then that looks like you taking responsibility for something that you're planning. And you might have to factor that into your own budget. Like if I really want one of my boys to come and I know he's working 2 jobs. He's having a really tough time. He's trying to take care of his parents. In my budget, I might factor in whatever he needs because I really want him to come on this trip. And me personally, that's how I think. I don't believe in abandoning my friends. So if I really want them to go, I might, hey, listen, bro, I'm gonna pay for half your trip or I'm gonna pay for your ticket. All you gotta do is pay for your own room or whatever the case is. And that's taking accountability. Now, if they still fold and fumble after that, that's on them. From a language perspective, how does one take accountability and what does that sound and look like?
So I'll give you a tangible example. Still in lieu with, we talked about eating earlier, right? Because we have to eat to survive. And that being said, if you're saying, okay, and I want to try new things, what is the point of going to the restaurant and getting chicken tenders? You literally defeated yourself the moment you sat down. And if you actually went to a new restaurant and got chicken tenders, I'm judging you very harshly because for why you could have made that at home. If you are saying, I want to make these decisions, if you are saying, and I want to be involved and invested, and I have this resolution, then I need to accept that it might be difficult. And I also need to accept that it may not necessarily look the way I want it to. However, I'm willing to try. Most of us fail at things because we haven't even started.
So back to your previous point, right? You haven't even started. So sometimes, and not to play devil's advocate, but like sometimes, especially with the new restaurant, I don't know what type time this new restaurant is finna be on. I don't know what type. They might have me eating oysters out the alligator. I don't know. So while I myself am not opposed to trying something new, it's hard to get people to come out their shells a little bit. So, and to keep the focus of the conversation from a language perspective, that means also indicating to the person that you're planning something with your boundaries and your comfortability with certain things, right? If I'm someone who I like the chicken nuggets, I like to go to exotic restaurants and order the chicken nuggets. Maybe I am a sicko like that, Maybe I'm a sicko like that. But you should know that, and I have an onus to articulate that
Correct.
before moving forward.
Right.
Right? So in so doing, to avoid cognitive dissonance, one of the things that I found is that works for me is straight up, I call it unhinged truth telling. Listen, this is what I'm not with. This is what I won't do. Before planning anything, I'm Muslim, right? I know I don't eat pork, right? I know there's some country, Barcelona, for example, a lot of pork options. You wouldn't think about it. But if you travel to Barcelona, there's so many, like the amount of pork that is in their diet is almost disgusting. And yes, I am judging because I'm Muslim. Deal with it. It's my podcast. Get your own. So for me, taking accountability doesn't look like we get there and I'm having a horrible time because I can't eat anything. Taking accountability is like, okay, I did the research. These are the restaurants that I want to go to while we're here. If we can't hit these restaurants, either for time constraints or etc., here are my alternatives. And also factoring in who you're going with. Back to your travel and eating example.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on that?
So, you mentioned something a little bit earlier that kind of resonated with me. You were talking about, I used to put people where I wanted them to be. And the truth is I was only deceiving me. Now I need to meet people exactly where they are. I'm a planner and I got planner friend girlies and all that. And so we have a timeline. We're like, hey, by COB XYZ date, make sure your flight is booked. Make sure that you've looked at the activities. Make sure you've sent your suggestions. We're checking in. We're having group calls. We're on the Zoom with the whiteboard or we're in Google Meets and we're drawing on because the thing is this, I don't want anybody to show up and saying, I didn't know what we were doing or I wasn't involved or my voice wasn't heard. Because at that point, now I'm upset. And I'm like, what do you mean? You got the PDFs. You had the Excel spreadsheets. You knew exactly what it was. You knew exactly what you were signing up for. You had the details.
And not to cut you off, but that is a communications thing at the end of the day. I know that if I'm seeing spreadsheets, if I'm seeing like PDFs, Google Docs, and like y'all got this big old itinerary, I ain't reading all that. So here's the thing.
And that's how people get sued because y'all didn't read the fine print. You got to read.
Don't you sass me on
Reading
this
is
podcast.
fundamental.
Don't you sass me on this podcast.
You should have stayed home.
And you know what? I blame you for not playing to my strings. Here's why. Here's why.
Yo, it's my episode and my topic, and I'm getting fried. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because here's the thing, right? If you wanted me to come on this trip, and you didn't factor in how I am as a person, if you know and you know your friends, tell me how much it is, send me the bill. I got friends like that. Hey, bro, I'm not reading all that. Send me the bill.
Send me the bill.
I play to their strengths.
Correct.
There's some friends like, listen, I am cool with spending 7 days straight on the beach. I got some friends like that.
Correct.
Play to their strengths, and factor that in to you being accountable. Right? I know, take my mom, right? My mom, she's going to read everything to the fine print, right? You can't get one over on my mom, right? So if you trying to be sneaky, it ain't gonna fly. You got your sneaky friends and you got your upright standing citizens. My mom is an upright, everything got to be by the book, right? So I know if we in the Dominican Republic and we try to go do some illegal stuff, go watch a cockfight, I'm not inviting my mother. I wouldn't invite my mother to a cockfight anyway. But you know what I'm trying to say? I know she's not the person for that.
Correct.
So just like how different strokes for different folks, factor that into your accountability.
You got to keep yourself on your toes and you got to keep people on their toes as well. Comfortability does not provide an environment for growth. If the goal is to be better in whatever, then you have to step outside of that.
Right. You have, and let me be clear. Let me make something clear. I don't think we made this clear earlier in the episode. So let me make something clear. Cognitive dissonance isn't always a bad thing. In fact, that is how you learn some of the greatest lessons in your life. Like you're able to update and recalibrate to better suit the situation, especially when you're in uncharted waters. Right. So what that looks like. Okay. You go to a different country. Right. And you realize everybody dresses a certain way. Right. So take Dubai. That's a law, right? You go over there if you're a woman, you have to dress a certain way, right? You cannot, they will arrest you. I've seen it on social media all the time. You cannot, dress like you're going to Miami at the club, you know? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but in Dubai, that simply doesn't fly. You have to adjust your mind to suit the needs of not only your friends, not only yourself, but also the environment. And Desi, I know you had a nice little anecdote earlier about that, but tell me what your thoughts are.
No, I think that, again, doing your homework, I'm very big on doing homework. I'm very big on doing research.
She was that person who reminded the teacher to collect the homework. Yeah, I'm snitching. I want that to be known. I'm sorry in advance.
I did not remind the teacher.
She definitely did.
But if the teacher remembered, my assignment was done and it was A+ worthy, because you're not going to catch me lacking.
Notice how she said A+ worthy, because sometimes she gave the C. Hey, Papa Desi, I'm letting you know right now, she plagiarized some of the homework. Yep. I wasn't there.
That is a trigger statement, because I did get called in for honors council court because my essay was literally perfect and they thought that I plagiarized, just to find out that it wasn't.
Oh, no. Don't, no. Let's talk. You want to talk about cheating? Let's talk about cheating. You see how you had to laugh to give yourself. But anyway, we're distracted. Let's continue with where we're going. And here on this podcast, we believe chaos reigns. Desi, I want you to take the reins, pun intended, and tell me, accountability, cognitive dissonance. We gave the wholesome examples. Now, tell me why you're really here.
Why you gotta do me like that? Well, okay, listen. So let's think of some practical examples that happened that would actually probably send people into a frenzy. An example of that would be, ladies, imagine if the group chat got leaked. Fellas, imagine if your girl got your password. I believe that people...
That's happened to me. That's happened to me.
And how did that go for you?
Hey.
Listen, it can make or break.
While I was asleep, too. That's crazy, right?
It's best to do your dirt in the dark. And then once it comes up in the light, you just got to live with it. So...
I mean, I blame her, though, right? Like...
No, I don't blame her.
No. Hear me out.
I blame you.
I blame her. Ready? Here's why.
But your accountability, you see, you're deflecting accountability.
I'm not deflecting.
Because the thing is, whatever was seen in the phone, if it wasn't there in the first place, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
But watch this. Ready? Here's me being accountable. If I know I don't want my feelings hurt, I'm not going to go through somebody's phone. Simple.
Okay.
Listen, my mom always told me, when you go looking for something, you find it.
And I will add on to your mom's adage and say, if you truly don't want the answers, then don't ask the question.
Never ask the question. Listen, don't go through that man's phone. I don't care how loyal. I don't care how great. I do not care. Don't do it. Don't do it. You hear me? How many times don't do it.
And fellas, don't ask your girl what's going on in the group chat, because the truth is...
And you will get your feelings hurt. Trust me.
If you really thought you were that guy...
You're not.
You're not.
The peenie ween, trust me, that's in the chat.
Oh, when somebody shows you their true colors, they don't need to show them more than once. Let them be who they wanted to be in that moment. Hold them accountable for that.
Accountability is really learned. And it's influenced by your upbringing and how fatherless you are. No, I'm teasing.
No, but honestly, I think we're trying to be better this year. We have these resolutions. They need to be sustainable. They need to be tangible. And we also need to hold ourselves accountable. Don't go bite more than what you can chew.
Fellas, imagine you've been plotting on this girl. You've been plotting on her for like maybe 5 months at this point. And you're buying her flowers, you're taking her out on dates, and she just doesn't see you that way. But like she sees the vision, but for whatever reason, she just doesn't want to. Okay. Now imagine you host a kickback and you invite your friends, right? And then your friends, one of your friends in particular, one of your more unhinged friends, comes in, and he knows you've been plotting on this girl for a minute, right? He comes in and he says to you, hey, and you invite the girl over. He comes in, some drinks were had, and he says to you, hey, to your face, he's like, yo, look, girl right here, she fine. I know you're not seeing her. Yeah, I mean, I know you're not talking to her. What's up with Shawty, right? Now, an accountable person would say, I know we not seeing her. I know we not dating or anything like that, but I would feel some type of way if you pursued her. For the sanctity of our friendship, I would like for you to not do that. Now, you can spin it in some variety or however you talk. You don't got to talk like me, right? But an accountable person would say that. But let's say you weren't accountable. And you say, man, I ain't, it's not like we dating or whatever, man. If you think you can pull her, bro, go ahead. And your friend says, bet. Now, Shawty starts feeling your friend. Shawty starts feeling your friend. Right? And mind you, this is your kickback. She spends the night because she got really drunk. And in the middle of the night, she goes to your friend's room. and yeah, you know where I'm going with this. Now, but you don't know this. The next day you wake up, you see that this didn't happen to me, by the way.
This is not based on a true story. We're just storytelling. No, you know what I'm saying? Like,
this didn't happen. But Daddy's looking at me like, did this happen to you? Like, no. I'm just giving a scenario. She leaves the room, right? And you know your friend is going to dog her out. She not going to get treated like how you would have treated her if you gave her a chance. I want to propose a question to you. Do you get upset with your friend? Do you get upset with her? Or do you get upset with yourself? That's the question I want to propose. If you're asking me, homie, that's on you, bro. It's not my fault your shawty was feeling me. But if you're asking someone like Desi, Desi would say, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Desi would say, hey, you should have had a conversation with your boy and let him know that you would have felt some type of way. Secondly, you also being an accountable person, you know how your boy is. If you knew that your old girl was going to be there and you know how your friend is, perhaps inviting him wasn't the wisest decision. Third, what kind of girl is that would do that to you in your house? I think that's what Desi would say. But Desi, what are your thoughts? Tell me more. Tell me what you think about
I think that there are levels and layers to this story.
Oh, the politically correct answer. No, tell me what you really think.
No. Hear me out. Everybody's at fault. And nobody wins.
Nobody wins when the family feuds.
When you play against the house and you lose, the house comes down. My thoughts are boys to boys, girls to girls. There's something about codes. There's something about ethics. There's something about principles. I think very often, even myself included, I would downplay a situation. I would dilute it with water, and I'll put it in a pretty little bow, right? Because sometimes being brash and abrasive and direct is difficult. That is a point of contingency. That is a point where accountability should probably come in. As a homie, and he know you've been trying to pursue a shawty, like he's seen it, and you tell him about it, and then for him to come in and be like, and you wasn't making the moves that I could make, and so I'm gonna make them, and I'm gonna show you how it's done. That was fouler. That's foul. That's some fouler behavior. And that's foul. It's foul. And then for a girl, how she look? Like when you stood up like that.
First of all, she's a clown.
How you gonna sit back there?
I would dare say.
Come back.
I would dare say that's fatherless energy, right?
Because the thing is,
that is mad fatherless. What you just did. For whatever
reason, y'all were not, again.
And I would never do that to any of my bros. Like I could not imagine any one of my bros doing that to me. I cannot imagine me doing that to any one of my friends. Like, hey, I know that it's just a scenario, but you'd be surprised. Stuff like that happens all the time. And a simple conversation, a simple accountability check-in
can make a difference.
Can make all the difference. And what you don't want is feelings hurt, people played.
And you don't want to lose people.
And that's how you get shot.
Listen, some people are actually crazy. Some people take things very personally. And I think that there is a level of, I would say, discipline that was lacking, right? So when it comes to self-awareness, there's also that caveat that you also have to be disciplined in your decisions, in your thoughts, and in your actions. So if the roles were reversed and it was a girl doing this to one of her girls with a guy, I could definitely see how things would get very messy. The dynamics will change, and that relationship is forever altered. I mentioned earlier on, what happens when a group chat gets leaked? And if somebody was on some foul or play behavior, now everything that was done in the dark is in the light. Be better from that. Find ways to use your negative experiences to educate you. Yeah, I think when you have opportunities where you can grow and where you can learn, and even if things are unfortunate for whatever reason, there should be a lesson learned.
And the lessons learned is what keeps us growing and what keeps us from making poor decisions. And on top of all of that, holds us all accountable, right? With that being said, I think that's a perfect place for us to end. Is there anything else you want to get off your chest? Anybody you want to shout out?
Shout outs. Okay. Yes. So we heard that you all loved our intro and our outro. So we got to give a really quick shout out to our executive DJ and music producer,
Malcolm. My boy Malcolm is, man, he did his thing on that DJ and like, listen, he had 2 days notice and did his thing.
2 days notice. Listen, show up for the people that show up for you. So Malcolm, we really do graciously appreciate your assistance and all that you've done and all that you're going to continue to do. I know that y'all are catching up on these social media posts, so I just definitely want to give a little quick shout out to my girl Christine, who's working on the screen. And then last but not least, making sure that this audio is coming into you loud and clearly. I want to give my girl Megna a little quick shout out for that audio clarity and quality assurance. So again, we are super excited that you all were able to join us. Definitely stay engaged with us. Follow us on social medias, like, share, subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe. We're on Twitter, Instagram, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts. We're on everything.
YouTube, honestly,
YouTube,
right?
Yeah, follow us, like, share, subscribe. Please, that helps us to grow. That helps us to get better. And we love to hear your voices. If you got an episode you want us to do, a topic that you want us to cover, let us know in the comments. And shout us out.
And then last but not least, there was a question about, so how frequent are these episodes coming out and what does that timeline look like? So if you haven't figured it out already, we're going every other week, Monday at around 7 p.m. So that is when the episode drops. But again, doing our like surprises, we're curious over here. So don't hold us to that. We might sprinkle in, light up some sparks and some flames. So if something comes at us, it's going to come at you too.
Be on the lookout. We will be hosting Instagram Lives in the upcoming future. That'll be your chance to engage directly with us, talk to us, get our opinions if you want it, or at the very least, come say hi.
That is Touching the Stove.